Good morning. My name is Wayne and welcome to my world. So glad you're with me to start a great week ahead. We got tremendous programs from all of us. I'm glad to be kicking the week off again. Two great people coming in after me today, plus a tremendous group, ending with my partner, Mike Lafito, on Luxury Fridays. With that said, very simple question. Where will you be in 2023? It's not that far away. And so as we wind down to the last third of the year, let's see if we can blast past through 2022 and get in gear for the rest of the year. But more importantly, make sure we focus like a laser beam on our business plan that we set almost a year ago. I'm going to share a number of components, techniques, tracks, and things related to what master producers must do to finish fast, finish hard, and finish strong, and be ready for January 1, 2023. If you listen carefully, you may hear Paprocki's principle of peak performance for pride and profit. So with that said, let's look forward to this. What changes for you will happen next year? How will you re-engineer for more and better results? This is a changing market. In my previous sessions, we've talked heavily about how inflation has impacted us so far this year, realizing what the Fed is probably going to do 3 more times before the end of the year, and whether or not we will get into a recession by the end of this year or in 2023. Either way, it's time for recess. Let's start thinking about something that's fun, recess. We've been through an inflationary period of time. For many of you, it impacted you more than others. For many of your clients, it impacted them tremendously. But in most cases, it's a process that happens all the time. Inflation, recession, inflation, recession, inflation, recession. We never know how long or how deep it's going to go or how high it's going to go. We're at record numbers from over 40 years ago. We now are going to go into what officially is a recession, but unofficially, I personally and so many other people believe we are not in a recession right now. But those who don't understand history are bound to repeat it. So go back and look at the signs in 2006, 7, and 8. Look at the last 5 recessions since the 80s and see what happened and how you will be prepared. Again, if you don't understand history, you're probably going to repeat it. So I put the word recession up there, but I capitalized recess because it's going to be time to have some fun, especially if you believe strongly in my passion to buy at least 2 income properties every year you're a realtor. I just was at one of the companies I train with on a monthly basis. And one of the ladies who started real estate 2 years ago was there. And she heard me say exactly what I said to you. Buy 2 income properties a year. She's been in the business 2 years. So my first question was, do you have 4? And she said, no. I have 6. I have 6. She is the happiest person in the business for 2 years that I've met in a long time. She's doing well. She's growing her business, and she has income producing properties, which could mean 6 potential clients in the future when they want to buy a house. So let's get in gear for the rest of the year by re-engineering for results. The fundamental rethinking and radical design of your common business practices in 5 major areas. Let me repeat that. The fundamental rethinking and radical redesign of the 5 most common business practices in your journey towards success as a realtor. By the way, RECESSion is probably a better way to spell recession. I-O-N, I own, I own. So during a recession, it is one of the best times to buy. Prices will be contracting. Some people will have to make some decisions to sell they didn't want to. The opportunity could be one of the best in your lifetime. Surely up until now, unless you've been doing 2 a year. So this is the year, maybe to do more than 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe a flip and keep a couple, A lot of options here, my friends, but believe me, everything is right for you to begin or enhance or expand your real estate investing career, in addition to reaching your goals in terms of serving your buyers and sellers in the marketplace. So, what are the 6 major things top producers do every year to increase their income in this market in 2023 and 2024? There's a lot of people sharing a lot of thoughts. I'm never going to say somebody else has a better idea or a worse idea. All I know is these are the 6 I have found over the years that work for me and also work for the people I have the privilege of speaking from on the platform and coaching in my coaching program. So with that said, let's look at these in some detail to get a perspective where we're going. But before we do, let's realize the power of blasting through 2022. As I said, you want to get in gear for next year. So let's take a look at this whole concept of the word gear and re-engineering. My guess is if you've been out already, which you probably have, you got into your car. Could have been parked outside, could have been in a garage. But the first thing you did was probably put on your seatbelt, or maybe that was the second thing. Maybe you just started the car, then put on your seatbelt. But either way, you had to push a button or turn a key to get it started. And the engine is raring to go. Some of you had to back out. Some of you could move forward. Either way, if you just start that engine and sit there, you go nowhere. You cannot move forward in a car without getting in gear. And in your real estate business, you cannot move forward without getting in gear. 4 simple processes that, like links in a chain, connect. And if one link is broken, it stops you from getting to the next point in getting in gear. With that said, every single one of you who did your business plan probably last October, November, maybe December, set some goals. I would hope as you reflect on the first 7 months, 8 months or so, that your goals were practical, attainable, and reasonable. Hopefully you checked up on those back in June or July. Now we're looking at them to see if we can make sure we achieve everything by the end of the year. Goals will give you energy. No goal, no energy. Do you have a to-do list today? Do you have a work week planned? What's your schedule look like? We are at a point right now where over 40,000 seconds have elapsed since the day started on Monday. There's 86,400 seconds in every day. Nobody gets any more. Nobody gets any less. Some people got in gear at 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30. And believe it or not, there might be somebody out there, not you, who still hasn't got in gear because they have no goals for today. They've wasted nearly 43,000 seconds and confused very little accomplishment with probably very little activity. So goals need to be there. Short-term goals, long-term goals. Goals will give you energy. X number of new people you're going to meet, X number of things you're going to do, post on Facebook, do a TikTok video. You know your journey through the day. You know your routine for the day, which is one of the 3 R's of building a strong re-engineering process, a routine. Once you have energy, then you will do activity. Whether it's making a few more calls, making a few more emails, talking to a few more people, whatever it is, the more energy, the more activity. And you know what? Activity leads to results. It's rare to get results if you have no activity. I have shared a formula for weekly success, a weekly goal set that should be there every week you are in this business. Each week, work on bringing in a saleable listing first. Then separate lookers from buyers. And above all, make sure that you're working effectively, not efficiently. We need to talk about that a little bit later. So each week, a weekly goal, bring a saleable listing in first, separate lookers from buyers, and work effectively, not efficiency. Pat Procky's principle of peak performance for pride and profit puts that into an even stronger point. See, Peter Drucker said, the management guru, effectiveness first, efficiency second. You get results when you're effective. You don't get results when you're efficient. Loads of people in this business are very efficient each day. They're just not very effective. And the most effective thing you can do, it is the first element in the 10 elements of a surefire business plan. It's the first element. Get face-to-face with somebody who can sign something. Buyer or seller. That's all you have to do. It's the most important thing you can do every day. It's the first component of a surefire business plan for 2022, 2023. In fact, for the rest of your life as a realtor. Get face-to-face with somebody who can sign something. That's what it's all about. Everything else is activity. That is accomplishment. Goals give energy. Energy gives activity. Activity breeds results. No activity, no results. If you're going on one listing appointment or one buyer appointment each week, the odds are you're not going to have a lot of inventory or a lot of bona fide buyers. See, you need saleable sellers and bona fide buyers. That's results. Any activity that does not lead toward bona fide buyers and saleable sellers is probably not going to bring a lot of accomplishment. You'll be busy. You'll fill up the day. You might go home tired, but you didn't move your model forward. Your prospecting process is critical. So it is a way to radically rethink your business practices in 5 areas. LOTSA. Lots of. We're going to cover lots of stuff. And I'm not Italian, but I'm saying lots of. But before we do that, we got to go back to the basics. When the going gets tough, the tough go back to the basics. And you know the basics from your grade school days, the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic. Except in real estate, they're relationships, routine, and resiliency. So let's look at yourself. It's been over 8 months of a year that's brought us a lot of changes, a lot of positives, maybe a few negatives, a lot of stuff happening. How many new relationships have you nurtured? Can you count them on one hand, 2 hands? Do you need your hands and your feet? Do you need even more fingers? And how many existing relationships did you nurture and bring them up more to a bona fide buyer or a saleable seller? You've been working with them. When are you going to be able to actually represent them? Those are relationships. There's a very simple equation. BR equals RB. Build relationships, repeat business. Many of you have taken Brian Buffini's materials, and you know what pop buys are. If you don't, look it up. Pop buys are the greatest way to build continuous relationships. A super idea. Just staying in touch helps build relationships. Build relationships, repeat business. Then the other R is routine. Now, some people think a routine is bad or you get locked in, but there are certain things you must do on a daily basis that helps you move forward towards your goal. Obviously, a to-do list. Obviously, an amount of time to prospect. Amount of time to inspect. Not only properties, but yourself. How am I doing? Maybe some role playing to practice your skill set. Maybe watching a video. But what's your routine? What happens on a regular basis that's pretty predictable? And again, is the routine a good routine because it's paying results? Or is it a bad routine? It's not paying results. Maybe you need to change your routine. Maybe you're not prospecting enough. Maybe you're not prospecting in the right places. Maybe you should be doing more face-to-face prospecting or more email prospecting or more TikTok prospecting. Resiliency. You know, people in real estate have to hear jections. We hear jections, jections, Jections. The problem is you think of them as rejections when they're really objections. Do not confuse objections with rejections, because if you think of this business as a rejection business, you lose a lot of resiliency. You've got to learn to bounce back. I did some research. I can't find one person that died by falling into a lake, a water, or a swimming pool. A lake, a body of water, or a swimming pool. Not one death related to falling in. The reason they died was they didn't get out. You got to bounce back. I have several phrases I picked up from various trainers, things I made up myself, but one that hits me so often is that a setback is a setup for a comeback. Another one along that same line, a step back is a setup for a step up. Sometimes we have to step back and take a look at things before we can step up again. We call it, I can't see the forest for the trees. Maybe you need to step back and say, what went well? Because Wayne wonders, what went well the first 6 or 7 months of your business? And are you duplicating that? Or did you find some flaws? And that's why the SWOT analysis, which we'll probably do another seminar on in a few weeks. The Boston Consulting Group analysis that's used by every major corporation and hopefully every realtor who's serious about building a business. Identifying your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. That's going to help you build relationships, create a better routine, and above all, be more resilient in Wayne's world. Now, just to remind you, goals give you energy. Energy gives you activity. Activity creates more results. So where is your weak link? Are the goals not practical, attainable, and reasonable? Are they not measurable? Goals need to have 4 components to them. They need to be specific. They need to be obtainable. They need to be written down. That's why you have a business plan. That's why you set goals. Maybe you carry them around with you. Maybe you have them on your refrigerator or you have a vision board. But goals need to be specific, obtainable, and written down. And then the most important element is goals need to be something you want, not something somebody wants for you. I want you to buy at least 2 income properties this year. I want you to achieve your goals. But unless you want those things to happen, they don't happen. The key component of goal setting is making sure it's something you really want. You're hungry, as Les Brown says. You're hungry. It's not what I want, it's what you want. It's not what your family wants, what your managing broker wants, what your company wants. It's what you want. Success is never final and failure is never fatal. It's the courage that counts. That's what gives me the energy. That's what creates the activity. That's what generates those results. So moving forward, everybody started last January 1 with high expectations. And many of you may have achieved those goals already, and you're expanding the last 4 months. You've achieved everything you said you were going to do January 1 by August 1. Or maybe by September 1, you'll have achieved it. So you're going to blast past through 2022 with even more goals. You're going to exceed your expectations. Wow, what a feeling. What a feeling when you finish what you said you would start. You over-delivered because it's not December yet. I love those kind of people. And I know you love yourself if you are an over-deliverer. So Do you know lots of stuff? And what are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? LOTSA, listings. They're the name of the game. Always have been, always will be. You list to last, you list to exist. The O's for objection handling. Do you realize that if you close no more than 3 times or no less than 3 times, but you close 3 times, you always get what you want most of the time and not push people beyond repair. So you have to know at least 3 different closes. Many of you don't know more than 2 or 1, but you should know several. I'm hoping in the next month or 2, I'll do my session for you on how to be a master closer, the 6 components, MASTER. Each stand for a different kind of close. So you'd have 6 in your arsenal. You could pick any 3, but you must close 3 times. Now, if you want to close more times, top salespeople sometimes close 5, 6, 7 times. All I'm saying is that if you close more than 3 times, you might push somebody beyond repair. They get upset. I told you no. I told you no. Don't you understand? NO. They'll give you 3. So you better know 3. Is that your weakness or is that your strength? Is that an opportunity? And then the T is for time control. As I said moments ago, 86,400 seconds will be totally gone from today when we're done with this program. For the people in my central time zone. For those of you in the West Coast, you will still have some time. This is on the East Coast, it's already over. You're into the second half of your day. But time control, time management is critical. You waste your time, you waste your life. You master your time, you master your life. See, a lot of people have 5, 10 minutes of time. They're early for something. Somebody's a few minutes late. You're sitting in the doctor's office. You went to an appointment. They said they'd be there, but they're busy. What do you do with those 5 or 10 minutes? Do you kill time? Or do you have some activity you do? What are the ways you handle those short bursts of time that you thought were going to be doing something with, but something got changed? Got stuck in traffic. Train. Bridge went up. Road construction. You got to an office, the doctor's behind schedule. Somebody was supposed to meet you for lunch and they're going to be late. How do you handle those 5, 10, 15 minutes, those extra pieces you didn't plan on? Because if you just kill time, and boy, we see loads of people killing time all around us, in the office, other places. My theory in Wayne's World, if you continually kill time, my friends, you are murdering success. If you kill time, you're murdering success. Alan Lakin is the person whose quote I just gave you. If you waste your time, you waste your life. If you master your time, you master your life. He's been a time management guru for God knows how many years. I think everybody that teaches anything about time management uses Alan Lakin's materials. So what's your time controls? What's your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for time? Then selling skills. Do you know some of the basics of sales? Do you know some of the techniques, the tracks, and the tips? Do you have some ways in which you speak? Do you know some of the best ways to close a sale? Do you know how to build rapport? Do you know how to build instant enthusiasm? What are your selling skills? How do you get attention? How do you build interest? How do you get them to desire, to yearn you and your services? And how do you get them to be convinced so they sign? Because unless you're in a different office than I'm at, or any office in the country I've been to, you do not get paid. You do not get paid $1 on the sales you almost made. So obviously you have to close, but you have to know all the steps in selling. And my particular, I guess you'd say, focus is collaborative sales, collaborative negotiating, win-win sales, not win-lose sales, not a competitive sales strategy, but a consultative or integrative sales strategy. That's why when I teach our 2-day negotiation designation, the certified negotiation expert or the master certified negotiation expert, we talk a lot about collaborative sales and some of the techniques and tracks that make for that happen. And then the A, obviously, is attitude control. And gosh, we all have the phrases, the things we say, the people we respect. My mentor, who I met many, many years ago, taught me a lot about sales and speaking. I got to visit him at his home in Dallas. He came here to Northbrook, Illinois. Many of you know him with his most famous book, See You at the Top. Zig Ziglar said it very simply. Said two things, in fact. One is you can have anything in life that you want. Just help enough other people get what they want. And isn't that what we're supposed to do? We're helping buyers and sellers get what they want. And we get anything in life that we want. So you don't pay the price for success in this business. You enjoy the price of success. I don't believe I ever paid the price for those long hours, for those sometimes evenings that I didn't get home till after midnight or got up early to get a head start. I feel I've been able to enjoy the price. Buying 2 income properties a year, I didn't pay the price. I enjoy the price. And then I think the quote that hits me the most and the most often is a very simple one from Zig. It's your attitude, not your aptitude, that determines your altitude. I learned a long time ago, I'm going to that home to see if I even want that listing. If I want it, I'll take it. I'm going to give you a checklist to see if you're a bona fide buyer. If you're a bona fide buyer, I'm fine. If you're not, I can't put you in my car. I've got several things I pride myself on that you should pride yourself on. But I've been in this business over 40 years. I have never, ever had a person in my car to look at houses who was a bona fide buyer who never signed an exclusive buyer agency agreement. And only once in my life did I have an expired listing. And that was recently because I changed companies, and ethically I could not tell the client I was leaving to go to another company. Other than that, I walked my talk, signed buyer agreements, and no expired listings. Lots of stuff in this business. It all boils down to those 5 areas. Look at that star right now, because if you've mastered those 5 areas, my friends, you are in control. You are successful in real estate. You spell success in this business, C-O-N-T-R-O-L. When you can't control listings, can't control objections, can't control time, can't control sales, can't control your attitude, you are not going to be a top producer. You're not going to be a success participator. You will be a success spectator in this business. And I believe every single one of you that took the time to be here and listen to all of us every day, every week in our winning programs are people that want to be in control and are successful. So look at yourself, take a SWOT analysis. We'll talk about it in future sessions. But for right now, let's move on. The relationship, the resiliency, and the routine have to be a part of your life. Just showing you one more time to remember that this is what you should be feeling every day. Did I build new relationships? Did I achieve my routine, or did I get sidetracked? Did I get interrupted? Did I get off schedule? Did I waste time because I got off my routine? Do you allocate certain time to do certain things? And again, can you bounce back? Are you resilient? So, is there a formula to be a top producer? Well, no, but there's an almost formula. So if you're going to re-engineer, let's see how you're doing at this. I'm a very strong proponent on Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. There's so much to be said about that. Between Maslow's hierarchy of needs, neuro-linguistic programming, And left brain, right brain, I feel I'm very comfortable. And I guess the disc theory has been a large part of my training and my personal growth, understanding my profile and how to blend my profile with my clients. So, as you well know, once you reach that level of self-esteem in Abraham Maslow's hierarchy, you've been through the physiological, you've been through the safety, you've been through the love and affection. Now you're at self-esteem. I guess I can ask you a simple question. How powerful is your self-esteem engine? How powerful is your self-esteem engine? And it's not bragging if you did it. It's not being arrogant. It's just a fact that you have to have high self-esteem to be a success in this business. And you got to have some knowledge. And that's why self-esteem plus knowledge equals confidence. I know I'm good. My results show I'm good. I have to tell you I'm good. I know. You can see I'm good. The results speak for themselves. We're back to the gear. The results speak for themselves. Self-esteem plus knowledge equals confidence. But here's the little glitch. So many people, for so many reasons, hear this crazy phrase that knowledge is power. In Wayne's world, my friends, knowledge is not power. Knowledge is only potential power. It does not become power until you use it. Calvin Coolidge said, among many things, the world is full of educated derelicts. It takes talent, patience, and persistence. A lot of people know a lot of stuff. They've taken seminars, bought books, tapes, cassettes, DVDs. They subscribe to services. But they're not producing. Self-esteem plus knowledge will be confident. But you have to use the knowledge and feel that nobody can slap you around anymore. I sometimes wear an ILAC button inside my coat. Just a little button I made that says IALAC. And every so often when stuff slaps me in the head or I make a stupid mistake or somebody starts shouting at me, I just open it up and look at it. IALAC reminds me, Wayne, I am lovable and capable. I'm lovable and capable. That's my ILAC button. Hopefully you have an ILAC button. Maybe you'll make one for yourself and put it inside your pocket or put it inside your coat. Because you are a lovable and capable person. You were designed to succeed, engineered to exceed, and you're endowed with everything you need. Excuse me. So now that we understand the power of confidence and how you get there, then the magic begins when you add two pieces to the formula, two ingredients. The E is for enthusiasm and the P is for pride. Now you'll notice those just don't get added into confidence, they multiply your confidence. Stop and think, how many buyers, how many sellers this year were you really enthusiastic about? That's that premier listing. You can't wait to go there. You tell everybody about it. Those buyers, they're bona fide. They're easy to work with. They follow, they listen, they do everything. You've got to be sold yourself. See, the last four letters in the word enthusiasm, IASM, I am sold myself. You will not be successful if you're not sold yourself. See, if you don't believe you can buy 2 properties a year, you won't buy 2 properties a year. If you don't believe you can add 5 more clients before the end of the year, you won't add 5 more clients. You have to be sold yourself on listening to me, on following up today, listening to Jackie or Lisa on what they want to share. This is a serious business. It's very simple. It just ain't easy. But you got to be sold yourself. See, when I told that young lady, start your career 2 years ago, learn how to sell, let me train you, but buy 2 properties a year, she listened and she owns 6. And she's a top producer. I am sold myself. And then something that's so personal, hard to define, a feeling that I'm sure you had at some point in your life in some way. It could be with a real estate client, could be your family, could be something you did. I don't know what it is, but you feel pride. You're proud of something. You're proud of a moment. You're proud of your belief system. You're proud on something. And I love to take words and turn them into definitions or phrases. So PRIDE. In Wayne's world, pride is a personal reward, PRIDE, in developing excellence. When you feel you've done the best you can each day, each week, each month, each year, with every buyer client, with every seller client, you'll be proud. I know you have proud moments. And remember, nobody should demand perfection. Just expect excellence. We all make mistakes. In fact, if you don't make mistakes, you're probably not doing anything. You learn more from your mistakes than from your successes. At least I do. So remember, don't demand perfection, expect excellence. It's not spelled PRIDP. It's spelled PRIDE. That is the almost formula. But I got to tell you, there's one magic ingredient missing. I don't have it to give you. You have to pull it out from inside of you. And some people don't have as much of it. Some people don't use it as often. But we know the power of it. It helps heal people. It helps make things go smoother. People love a person who has it. You're attracted to them. It's humor, laughter. It's kind of like the magic ingredient. When you pour it in to self-esteem and knowledge and enthusiasm and pride, then that's success. Without laughter, without humor, it's almost success. You've got to enjoy life, laughing at yourself, not at others, and laughing with others. Laughter is a powerful tool. Powerful tool. So you have the almost formula today in Wayne's world to be successful in this business. Now, said earlier, there's 6 things that a person who's in control, i.e. SUCCESS, success, spelled CONTROL, they've mastered 6 things. I'm going to put them all up quickly, and you can start to see where you're at and what your feelings are as you look at them all at once. I wouldn't say they're in the right order. They're in any order. Maybe you're high on teams. Maybe you're big on learning techniques and tracks. I call that sales dynamite, TNT. Techniques and tracks. See, not scripts. I'm not a script person. I'm a technique and a track person. TNT, sales dynamite. The scripts have to be yours. All of you know the most common objection that's trained in every sales class in the country for every kind of salesperson, the feel, felt, found technique. I feel, you feel, we found out, felt, found. Feel, felt, found. I understand how you feel, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer. Other people felt that same until they found out that. Well, I don't care how you present. I can certainly appreciate how you must feel. Or, hey, I know how you're feeling. Other people felt that way until they found out that. It's got to be your words. You can't sound phony. So to me, scripts help you get started, but it's got to be yours. It's got to be natural. See, you can be confident with techniques. You can be competent with tracks, but you only can be natural when you use your own scripts. See, competent, confident, and national. Techniques and tracks. Don't memorize somebody else's script. It sounds phony. It's like when some speakers are reading from their notes all the time. They're always looking down, not looking and giving their client eye contact. So let's look at these. Prospect. What's your goal for today? How are you working listings? Are your listings getting you more listings? Are past listings getting you new listings? Listings are the name of the game, especially in a market like we just had, as you well know. And we're going to see another one happen in this recessionary market whenever it happens and how long it's going to happen. We're already seeing loads of people offering webinars, seminars, and articles on how to list during a recession. But you know what? If you listed during the last recession, you know. Or if you look at some of the people that did, find out what they did in the last recession. The drawbacks to waiting. Powerful concept. And then you got to set your high listing standards. I'm big on listings, as you can guess. So I think a saleability checklist of some sort. Price Bowie, who owned a large company, taught me the saleability checklist. My sales mentor, Floyd Wickman, who gave me the opportunity to teach Sweat Hogs for him years ago, expanded on that. And some larger companies have used a saleability checklist. Maybe your company is already. Maybe you're taking a seminar that does that. Maybe it's called something else. But there's certain standards that say, I can't put my sign in your yard. You do not meet my standards. See, I don't need them all. I don't want them all. And I ain't going to get them all. My goal each and every day, each and every week, each and every year is to find, attract, and keep enough clients I select to make the profit I want to make. That's my business model. How many clients will it take to meet my goal based on my average sales price, based on my market? But I got to find and attract and keep, i.e. signed agreements, buyer agreements, seller agreements. So if I'm setting high listing standards, a checklist of things that must be there, i.e. everything from soup to nuts, literally. And then above all, as I said earlier, separate Lucas from buyers. A bona fide buyer is somebody who will get pre-approved or approved. If it's a large cash purchase, have proof of funds, are motivated. They're looking for something now, not 2 years later. They've got money, they're motivated, and they're urgent to do something, buy or sell. Mum's the word: motivation, urgency, money. That's a bona fide buyer. There's more to it than that, but that's a bona fide buyer. And then again, teamwork. There's just been a study out again about the value of teams in real estate and the number of teams that have grown over the years in real estate. So we do know that there's a lot to be said about being on a team. There's a lot of components of teams, and some aren't the best, but there seems to be something that's making a business model work when somebody is on a team of some sort. So those are the 6 major things you've got to do. And once again, we're back to the SWOT analysis. Of those 6, where's your strength? Where's your weakness? And even though some of these are strengths, are there some opportunities to get them even better? Did you kind of get lazy after June? Did you kind of want to do something but then put it off, procrastinate because something else got in the way? And then what are some threats? Today we have a lot of people that would like to buy a home, but their affordability factor is kind of messed up between interest rates, pricing. We got some sellers who may have certain criteria they expect or want, and those could be some threats to making a deal work. So these are the 6. So what do you have so far? We got the word gear. We got Lotsa. And take those 2 and put them into this package. You can start to see what happens. You're going to become a master producer, a top producer, and finish the year to blast past and really jump into 2023. So moving forward, let's talk about these. First of all, what is a prospect? Somebody thinking of buying or selling now or in the near future. You got to keep those people in a positive, confident way. They want to buy or sell now or in the near future. And obviously, we talked about the gear. We gave you the success formula, near formula, asking you to make a commitment, whether it's 2 properties a year or going past your expectations and going back to the 3 R's: relationships, resiliency, and routine. That's change. And changes bring challenges, but changes and challenges only happen when you make choices. You've got to choose to do something. Remember, it's something you want, not something somebody wants for you. Change isn't easy. Changing from a market where you just put on the market in a day it's sold, 2 days it's sold, above list price. We got people advertising now that their list to sale price ratio is 116% in my market. 116% her last 30-day list to sale price ratio because of multiple offers. I wonder what they're going to be a year from now when she shows her numbers. I hope they stay high, but I bet they won't be near that number. Changes, challenges, and choices help you stay in control. The formula. Each week, bring in saleable listing in first, separate lookers from buyers, and then above all, become effective, not efficient. Ideally, if your company is large enough, most effective way is showing and selling in-house inventory. Could be a better split for you. Could be a better overall company move to show your company is listing and selling their properties. Not easy to do, but it makes sense. Now, how do you find prospects? Well, you can sit in the office and hope, although offices are changing, that's for sure. Some people never go to an office. Some people don't have an office. You can knock on doors. That's the oldest. When they go and get stuff to go back to the basics, knocking on your farm area. A sticky website. Have you looked at your website recently? Is it working? Where are you at in search engine optimization? If you put in your town and put real estate agents in your town, how far down or how high up are you on the search engine? Go and do a Google search. Just put real estate in your town and see what pops up. And then once you're popped up, is your website sticky? With that, I mean, when people come to your website after they get there, do they never have to leave? You got links to everybody that they need to find out all they need to buy or sell a home. You've got the whole MLS in the back office with firewall protection. You've got all kinds of things for them to never leave your website and, more importantly, want to come back to it. And then, how are you texting? How are you emailing? How are you using technology to go after FSBOs, go after expireds, your sphere of influence? And by the way, we're going to put some numbers next. How many FSBOs are you working with right now? How many expireds are you working with right now? How many people are in your sphere of influence? The really close people, the A people. And then there's this group called orphans. And I'm not sure if everybody knows what an orphan is. Let me explain. Companies have agents who leave. They leave for another job. They quit the business. They did some deals. And their file's sitting somewhere in a drawer. They're not there, so they don't nurture that client. There's a lot of orphans sitting in office files. Maybe somebody can give you some orphans to work with. They sometimes can be very good resources in the process. But how many people do you have? And then number 5, which should be number 1 probably, is today's social media. Whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it. How are you using social media? How well? I'm fortunate to have 2 of what I believe are the best, ultimate best people in the country teaching realtors about digital marketing and social media. My 2 wonderful friends, Carrie Little and Marky Lemons. Take a look at their material. If you're at an R convention, listen to their sessions. They know social media like I know negotiations and wealth building. They know digital marketing like I know negotiations and wealth building. They are indeed somebody you could learn from in those areas. So this is how you find prospects. Now, maybe that's nothing new to you. Maybe I just reminded you or underwhelmed you, but that's what I feel right now. So I love acronyms. CALLS. If you're going to do your job for the rest of the year, you've got to make a lot of calls. You got to kick it up a notch, but the calls have to follow this process. How many new contacts do you plan on making in September, October, November, and December. Put together a revised 4-month end of the year business plan for yourself. Because it's got to be something you want, not something somebody wants for you. How many new contacts each month? Brand new contacts. And then as you put those down, how many appointments do you plan on getting from each of those contacts? And maybe you already know because your history is good. I know if I make 5 contacts, I'll get 1 appointment. So if I want 3 appointments a week, I got to find 15 contacts. This is a numbers game. Once you got those 5 appointments from those 15 contacts, then how many of them will be buyer leads? How many will be seller leads? Some may list right away. Some may go out to buy right away. Some may be on the burner, and you'll pick them up at the end of the year or the beginning of next year. But you've got some bona fide buyers and saleable sellers. The question is, how soon can they become your clients? And then once you've got all those leads, that's going to get you sales. See, contacts lead to sales. CS. But look what's in the middle, all. All the stuff you have to do is in the middle. You got to get appointments and build bona fide buyer leads and saleable seller leads. If you don't do all that stuff, you never go from contacts to sales. And you don't get paid for your time. You're doing charity work. See, if you take a looker out instead of a bona fide buyer, a lot of time, energy, and money, you might as well have an Uber and charge them for the rides around. And if you have an overpriced listing or a non-saleable listing, that's worse than no listing at all. So contacts lead to sales. Everything else you got to do is in the middle. If you don't do all that stuff, it's not going to work. That is about as basic, as simple, and as quick as I can make the process. But once again, you don't need them all. You don't want them all. You ain't going to get them all. Believe me, it works that way. So I suggest you work listings. A process, learn objection handling techniques, learn how to close, take control. Go in there to see if you want it, you're going to take it. If I don't want it, I'm not going to take it. When my saleability checklist doesn't work, or they're not ready to listen to my pricing plan, or won't do what I suggest they do as a professional, I use a very simple phrase. I'd rather let you down now than let you down later. I'm sorry, I'm not the person for you. I'd rather let you down now than let you down later. But if you want to work with me on this checklist, maybe we can make it happen. I'd love to make it happen. That's an attitude. It's just a simple attitude. But you got to set high listing standards. They got to make it saleable. And like I just said, worse than no listing at all is an expired listing or an overpriced listing. And servicing will not sell an unsaleable listing. You can be there every day, have open houses every week. I have broker opens every other week, serve the best food, do anything you want to do, put big signs up. If it's not saleable, it's not saleable. And guess what? Buyers determine prices. The MLS says what something is saleable. And again, bottom line is there's nothing wrong with any listing that price and terms can't cure. I can sell every listing in every office in one day. Just cut prices by 60%. We'll find all the buyers you need. They'll figure out how to finance. Those are powerful points there, people. They got to make it saleable, but they got to know what makes it saleable. They don't know. You have to tell them. You have to show them. You have to present to them. You got to sell their house with some sizzle, not just the steak. And again, it doesn't do any good if it's unsaleable or expired. This is powerful stuff to my mind. Separate those lookers. It's not the number of buyers, it's the number of closings. And so much of this is time management control, people. So much of this is time management control. So if you're going to work with buyers, you must always give them a trip to Rome or tell them the magic word CITO. CITO. Every single buyer who should ever get in your car or you meet anywhere should have never been in your car or met you someplace else until they came into your office or a neutral place if you're dealing with out an office. And it's a required office meeting for everybody. They got to meet with you before you take them anywhere. Safety reasons, qualifying reasons, just time reasons. If you're not seat towing everybody, if you're not taking them to Rome, you're asking for some potential problems, some very potential problems. I mentioned earlier, what's a bona fide buyer? They're motivated, they're urgent, and they have some dollars. They're pre-approved, they're cash buyers with a letter, proof of funds, whatever the case might be. And then lastly, the qualifying question. If we find you the right house today, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, are you ready to buy it today? The qualifying question for a seller might be, if you're willing to do this, 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 and this, can we put your house on the market today, or can we get the ball rolling, whatever word you want to use. But the qualifying question for you today is, do you feel you're leaving here a little smarter, a little better, a little stronger, and now have a way to go ahead and build on your 2022 plan so you can blast past 2022? You got to be a pro. And I feel there's 5 things to being a professional in this business. The will to learn, and you're here. Thank you. You're going to stay on for some other programs today or this week. Thank you. We are bringing you a lot of stuff. The Culhane Group is doing amazing things to help you break past your self-imposed barriers, and I'm glad to be a part of that. You have to have the need to intern. You latch on to somebody, me, somebody, somewhere. And you have to have the sense to be special. And the time to have some fun. We've got conventions, NAR conventions coming, corporate conventions, regional meetings, organizations you belong to, and the desire to give back. We get by giving. You will always get what you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. And I hope, as you start your week, I gave you something you want, because then I know I get what I want. The satisfaction of being able to help you break past your self-imposed barriers and blast past through 2000. With that said, I wish you a great week ahead. I would hope that you would be willing to watch a few more programs today, or if nothing else, blast past 2022, and I will see you next week.